Okay, Supreme Court gives Trump green light to axe federal bureaucrats, okay? The Supreme Court permitted President Trump to proceed with his executive order for large-scale reductions in federal workforce, lifting a lower court injunction with the court stating, because the government is likely to succeed on its argument that the executive order memorandum are unlawful, and because the other factors bearing on whether to grant a stay are satisfied, we grant the application. The decision enables agencies to prepare for workforce cuts. However, Justin Ketanji Brown Jackson, the sole dissenter, called the majority decision hubristic and senseless, arguing, I see no basis to conclude that the district court erred, let alone clearly so, in finding that the president is attempting to fundamentally restructure the federal government. And Justice Sonia Sotomayor agreed the president cannot restructure federal agencies in a manner inconsistent with congressional mandates, but noted the order only directs agencies to create plans consistent with applicable law. Rob, go ahead and play this clip. Can't hear anything.
For Donald Trump's administration to pursue mass government job cuts and the sweeping downsizing of numerous agencies. In a brief unsigned order Tuesday, the court said the Trump administration was likely to succeed in its argument that his directives were legally within his power. The decision could lead to tens of thousands of layoffs while dramatically reshaping the federal bureaucracy. The ruling stemmed from an executive order Trump issued in February, ordering agencies to prepare for mass layoffs. The decision is the latest win for Trump's broader efforts to consolidate power in the executive branch. The Supreme Court has sided with Trump in several cases on an emergency basis since he returned to office in January, including clearing the way for implementation of some of his hardline immigration.
Right, Tom, thoughts on this?
So here's what's going on. The president says, we're trying to do a budget here, and we got Doge going, and we got things we got to do here, and we are broke, right? We are broke. We have an unbalanced budget, and so I think there needs to be large-scale reductions in the federal workforce, and I'm going to submit and I want to submit my wishes to the purse, which is Congress, and I want to sign an executive order that says we want to see reductions in the federal workforce. Well, the Supreme Court looked at it, and 8-1, they said, the president has the power to do that. He's the president. He signed an executive order. And Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was the only dissenter. Here we come, authoritarianism. They keep saying authoritarianism. The president has authority. They just don't want him to have that authority, so they keep saying authoritarianism. But in this case, 8 other Supreme Court justices, including Sandra Sotomayor, and you know what Sotomayor said? You'll love this, Vinny. He said, well, the president can't restructure federal agencies if he's trying to do it inconsistent with congressional mandates, because Congress makes the budgets, and like the Department of Agriculture, Congress makes the budget. And so the president can't restructure a federal agency inconsistent with that. But the executive order was only directing agency to create plans consistent with applicable law. So even Sotomayor is saying, the president has the power to tell you to get ready for layoffs because we're broke. But he's not trying to restructure the Department of Agriculture or something. He's just telling you, get ready, it's budget season, and this is what I want to do. And you're not answering my calls, so guess what? Screw you. Here's an executive order. Yeah. And under my authority. And everybody goes, oh my gosh, it's authoritarianism. And then 8 Supreme Court justices, including Kagan and Sotomayor, say, no, he's actually not trying to restructure the agency. He's just telling you that you got to trim your budget and you may have to lay off some people. That's what he's saying. And Ketanji Brown Jackson says, I don't know. I can't even go into it. She sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. Remember that? And she's just saying it's full of hubristic and senseless. So when you start having a Supreme Court justice saying hubristic and senseless, rather than saying, no, this is in conflict with this statute that we analyze this way, no, then you just have this political dissent. So one justice with a political dissent, and even the liberal justice saying, the president has the power to do what he's trying to do.
You're talking about the one Supreme Justice that was appointed by Joe Biden, who couldn't even say what a woman was.
Well,
is
this-
that the same one?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
the
okay.
Ruth
I'm not-
Bader Ginsburg replacement.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not surprised that she's the only one out of all
Never
of
mind
them.
that. It was 8-1 people saying the president has the authority to do exactly what he's trying to do to bring agencies in line with the available budget.
Adam.
Well, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, but
I am for
real.
Sorry, I had
Never meant to make Donald Trump cry.
I got it.
I thought that she was just being sort of emotional when she basically said the majority's decision is being hubristic and senseless. Sort of, I see no basis to conclude the district court erred in this. So I was like, all right, she's being a little emotional. And then I went and I did what's called a little bit of research.
Nice.
And I was like, how often are 8-1 rulings? How common are they?
Ooh.
And yeah, Tom,
good question.
There you go. You see, I did some research. The most common ruling is 9-0. Interesting. The most common ruling is that they all agree.
Yeah.
45% of the time, almost 50% of the time, they all agree. The second most common is 6-3 and then 5-4. So either they all agree,
Yeah.
or like it's a split decision down to the
Yeah.
end. The least common are 7-2, which is 5% of the time,
Interesting.
or 8-1,
Wow.
which is 10% of the time. So 10% of the time, this is what the situation happened with Ms. Jackson. But interesting how the Supreme Court works is that the majority of the time, it's actually unanimous. They all agree. And then the second most common is that it's completely divided. So people forget how...
Which is why it's in front of the court.
Yeah, exactly. So people forget how much influence and how much power the Supreme Court have. But it's interesting. This is a little inside baseball about the Supreme Court. But shout out to Ms. Jackson for being the dissenter on this, but it's not that common.
By the way, you know how earlier you were talking about the cities on the last time they had a Republican mayor? This entire time I've been doing the research and putting this thing together, I found out the following. Top 10 cities in America with homicide. St. Louis is number 1 right now. Okay?
For murders?
Yeah, St. Louis.
Okay.
And the
East
way-
St. Louis.
Yeah. Last time they had a Republican mayor, 1949.
Damn.
Baltimore, 1967. They're second. New Orleans is 3. You know when's the last time New Orleans had a Republican mayor? You will not get this one right.
New Orleans?
New Orleans. When's the last time they had a
wanna say
Republican mayor? It's
1858.
1872.
Oh my God.
The last time New Orleans had a... Can you verify this, Rob?
They
When's
had
the
to
last
have
time?
a civil war down there. in,
New Orleans,
Louisiana.
1872. Detroit,
You know that.
1962. Cleveland, 1989. Memphis, 1967. Vegas, 1975. Kansas City, 1991. Newark, Jersey, 1953. Chicago, 1931. These cities haven't had a Republican mayor between 30, 40 years to 153 years.
Oh my God.
And they're wondering why they're... Look at this. All mayors of New Orleans since 1872 have been Democrats.
Wow.
All mayors since 1872. So guess what? You know, either change the policies because bad policies destroyed great cities, or change the city you raise your kids in.
And what's interesting here is that a lot of those states actually vote Republican. Like Louisiana is one of the reddest states out there, but not a Louisiana, Cajun country right here.
Nope.
It's remember when Trump came out there and it was his final message to people in these cities. He goes, "What else do you have to lose?" Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
What else do you have to lose?
An election, hopefully.
Yeah. But that was in his first time when he won. And a lot of these cities are crumbling, and they're great cities, amazing cities, just poor management.
Can I ask you a question? Your personal experience? Because I don't have
Sure,
the research in
Israel
front of me.
did it.
No.
Yes, finally.
What was Miami's history of Democrat mayors until Xavier Suarez and then his son Francis?
Yeah,
who is
Francis
the
Suarez.
mayor
Shout out to
of
Francis
Miami
Suarez, one of
right
the
now,
greatest
good friend of
mayors
ours,
in
and
the
a
country.
great mayor.
Yeah,
delivered
it
Dade
honestly
County.
goes back and forth. Miami isn't a very red city or blue city, but Miami-Dade County has definitely gone from blue to red over the last 10 years, I would say. 5
With you
years.
growing up, what led red? What caused red, do you think?
Something called COVID. COVID happened
Really?
in Miami, and Ron DeSantis showed up, and he said, no.
Look, yeah, go back up, Rob. You
Yeah.
guys
What
notice
about-
that? Look at that. It's
Yeah.
all Tom, all Democrat.
was definitely Democrat
and
in
then,
the 70s.
And then 93, Rob?
And if you remember, the cocaine wars were going on in South Florida, Miami specifically, in the 70s during this time.
Democrat, and then the cocaine slowed down, and then it's what? Scroll up,
cocaine
Rob.
slowed down.
Scroll up.
And by
Okay,
the way,
Republican,
I mentioned-
back to cocaine.
Yeah. But mayors are actually supposed to not be
Francis Suarez is the
political. Mayors have to represent all constituents in their city, and you're supposed to be sort of like apolitical in that regard. Like, I don't think anybody would call Mayor Francis Suarez of Miami like a hardcore Republican, but he definitely has conservative, capitalist values that have guided Miami to what I think is the greatest city in the country at this point. Come on down to Miami. Just bring your
I'm gonna step up for
your
Pompano Beach and
BS
Fort Lauderdale's
progressive
awesome.
viewpoints
Fort Lauderdale's awesome.
back in New York.
Fort Lauderdale gonna come back, baby.
Let's go. Boca next.
Tom rapping again?
Hell yeah.
Tom be rapping?
No. That's enough for one day. We have a goal of 1 million people wearing the Future Looks Bright gear. The brand's becoming more and more recognizable. Very excited about it with what's going on. So what we're announcing today, I don't know if you're aware of this category that is now on vtmerch.com for certain selected hats. That's a buy one, get one free. You buy one at $34.99, you get the second one for free. Rob, if you can go to it so the audience can see it. These are the hats that are on there. You simply add one and then add another one, and the second one will automatically, from this category, be added in the buy one, get one free. Rob, there's a video work on the other side.
Yes.
Can you go to that one to show some of the hats? These are the hats that are in the category of it. The PBD Podcast, you got the Valuetainment logo one. That's sick. The OG one, blue, keep going. Black PBD Podcast, keep going. The red one,
sick.
Yeah, the U.S. flag. These are Future Looks Bright. Red one, keep going. Military camo, the black on black. There's a blue one that looks. The blue one, we don't have a lot left. The blue one's going to go very quickly. I shouldn't have said that.
There you go.
The pink ones that also, every time people ask about the pink ones, they disappear. Keep going. That's a sick one. Yeah, that's the blue one.
That's the one.
That's the blue one. Keep going.
What's it called? Royal? Not royal.
I think it's like a royal blue-ish. But the idea is buy one, get one free. Guys, sport it. Give it as gifts to others. If you're running a sales office, order 50 of them and give it to your guys. But anyways, go to vtmerch.com, place your order of the hats. We have 1 million people we want wearing Future Looks Bright. We are nearing 300,000 people right now that are wearing the gear. We're 700,000 away of people wearing the Future Looks Bright gear. Go place your order. And as always, we're going to have a few additional prizes that we'll put in there as well. The Future Looks Bright sticker, magnet, a couple other things that will be added to it.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.